Good morning, students. In today's class, we will be discussing about industrial production of organic acids. As we all know, organic acids play an important role in various applications. So production also should be on a large scale basis because the importance is felt so much so that if at all, if it has to be produced, it has to be produced on an industrial scale. So we will be discussing about important organic acids that is there in your syllabus, which includes acetic acid and lactic acid. So let's get started with one by one. So acetic acid, which is also called as ethanoic acid, basically it is otherwise known as vinegar. It's nothing but 4% acetic acid. So it is vinegar fermentation is one of the oldest means of fermentations. Basically, this acetic acid is colorless liquid. It's an organic compound, of course, has a pungent smell, and it is the principal constituent of vinegar, basically. So the first vinegar was spoiled wine, and glacial acetic acid is the pure form of acetic acid, that is nothing but 99.98%. Whereas vinegar is just 4 to 7%, but precisely they say 4%. It's somewhere between 3 to 7%, but precisely 4%. So this to discuss few important properties of acetic acid. It's as such a colorless liquid and having pungent smell with melting point of 16 to 17 degrees centigrade and boiling point is 118 degrees centigrade. So, and if we consider glacial acetic acid, it is highly corrosive to metals. It is soluble in alcohol, miscible in water or glycerol, ether, acetone, and benzene, whereas insoluble in carbon disulfide. So this is something related to acetic acid. Here, basically, we are concerned more with the production of vinegar. So the history goes like this. This Romans and Greeks who used to dilute these vinegars, vinegar as refreshing drink, produced by leaving the wine open to air. So industrially, for the first time, it was produced in open vats. Of course, it was, however, a very slow process. Basically, when we think of industrial scale, it should be economical also, because commercial basis, it should be highly economical. Only then you can go in for that particular process. So in our future slides, we will be discussing about differences between a particular method. So however, the process was increased many folds in 19th century by surface fermentation techniques, in which trickling generators were used. And in fact, this trickling generator method is still being used. Okay, though there are many other methods also, but this is also being used. So, of course, this term vinegar has originated from the French word vinaigre, and there are two stages of fermentation using sugar. Alcoholic fermentation in the first step, and acetic acid fermentation in the second step, that we will be discussing in the biosynthesis of acetic acid. So here basically the production of vinegar actually involves, as I just now told, two different processes. In the first, it utilizes utilizing yeast to produce alcohol from sugar, because sugar being the substrate, it has to be first converted to alcohol, and that alcohol will be converted to, or rather utilizing acetic acid bacteria, it will be converted to acetaldehyde. So acetaldehyde will be then converted to acetic acid. This is the actual process. So basically the properties of acetic acid bacteria, it should have following some of the properties, like it should tolerate high concentration of acetic acid, and it should require small amount of nutrients. And that means with little amount of nutrients, it should be able to produce the required concentration of acetic acid, and it should not over oxidize the acetic acid formed, and also it should be very high yielding in production. So the substrate used would be ethanol, wine, whey, molasses, because basically for this acetic acid bacteria, there should be presence of little, at least some percentage of alcohol. So only then it triggers its production, so or rather the conversion. And here the conversion of starch to sugars by amylase enzyme, that is glucose is converted to ethanol by Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which produces or releases amylases, and then this ethanol is being converted to acetic acid by Acetobacter aceti, precisely. There are many other organisms also which we will be discussing, but more precisely this will be the one that will be used. So conversion of ethanol to hydrated acetaldehyde, and this hydrated acetaldehyde with the presence of aldehyde dehydrogenase will be converted to acetic acid. So this is how it gets converted, glucose to ethanol and ethanol to acetic acid. So in the step of glucose to ethanol, Saccharomyces cerevisiae is involved, which releases amylases enzyme wherein the conversion happens. And in case of ethanol, it will be first initially converted to hydrated acetaldehyde, and finally by dehydrogenation using aldehyde dehydrogenase enzyme, it will be converted to acetic acid. So this is the microbial oxidation of ethanol to acetic acid in an aerobic fermentation. So that has high oxygen requirement, of course. Here you just can differentiate between acetic acid production and lactic acid production. Here we are stressing more on oxygen because oxygen is compulsory, it is required by acetic acid bacteria. Whereas in the other case, it is totally opposite. So that we will be discussing later. But as of now, you just remember that oxygen is very much required for the production process. So this Acetobacter, bacteria can be divided into two different groups, Gluconobacter and Acetobacter. So this Gluconobacter oxidizes ethanol to acetic acid. Acetobacter also oxidizes ethanol first to acetaldehyde and then to acetic acid, carbon dioxide and water are released. So the main species of Acetobacter used commercially are Acetobacter aceti and Acetobacter pastorianum. So similarly, in case of Gluconobacter, it is Gluconobacter oxidans, and many other subspecies are also employed in commercial production. So this acetic acid fermentation is carried out by these three different methods. The first one being Orleans process, and the next one is of course substrate fermentation process, and the third one being submerged fermentation process. So this Orleans process, it was actually most famous method, but it is very slow process, slow method of vinegar production, and of course it's a old French technique. Okay, it is traditional method, we can say, since it is slow but continuous process. Here high grade vinegar is used as a starter culture, and fermentation is usually done on large containers which are filled to about 2 to 3rd of its capacity. These wooden containers are laid down on their sides, and holes are drilled at the top and end sides of the barrel. This is wooden barrels are used for this purpose. Okay, ethanol is poured into this container using long aerated funnels from the top, and the starter culture of high grade vinegar is added, and thus the ethanol gets converted into acetic acid in about say 5 weeks time. So precisely speaking, almost 35 days. They say it is 1 to 3 months, but still, with the technological improvement, it would mostly take somewhere around 35 to 40 days precisely. So when fully acidified, the vinegar is racked off, leaving around 12 liters inside a 225-liter barrel. So this is the amount that we get from 225 liters. I mean, in a container which has the capacity of 225 liters barrel. So this can be then filled up to around half full with fresh alcoholic wine. So this fresh alcoholic wine acts as a substrate for the production of vinegar. So to make sure that acetic acid bacteria has enough oxygen available, holes are drilled through the ends of the barrel. And that's why I already told, oxygen is very much essential. So by whatever means you can supply oxygen, you need to think the possible methods that you can pass oxygen. So barrel is only filled until half full, allowing the maximum surface area to be exposed to air. So next comes the trickling process. This is also, it's a comparatively better process than the earlier process. Of course, we will differentiate between the trickling generators or trickling process, and then submerged fermentation process. This is nothing but the surface fermentation process, wherein beechwood shavings, these are the beechwood shavings are filled, okay, and at the bottom there is a tray, to collect all these, whatever the vinegar after production, and here spargers are introduced so that air is passed. As we already know that air is very much essential. So see to it that air is passed. Here the temperature at the bottom would be around 35 degrees centigrade, whereas at the top it would be 29 degrees centigrade. So with the high temperature, whatever the air that gets in will be moved up, and then it gets cooled. So it just gets circulated. That's how it just gets circulated. And of course, here also, wine or whey is being used as a substrate. So substrate is added through the openings here. And, these beechwood shavings, they will, when you pass the substrate, they just it's a way, slowly they just pass down. And in the process, oxidation reaction takes place, which converts the substrate to around 12 to 13% acetic acid. So this is the basic diagrammatic representation of trickling generators. And here you can collect the sample after the process is completed. So the composition of the vinegar stock should have glucose concentration of around 0.9%, ammonium phosphate 0.4%, and magnesium sulfate as 0.1%, potassium citrate 0.1%. These are all standardized based on the efficiency, or rather the high yielding capacity of a particular organism. So this is the composition of vinegar stock. So usually 1 gram of glucose should yield around 0.5 grams of ethyl alcohol, and this fermentable sugar concentration to the range of 8 to 20%. In case of temperature, they have mentioned it as in degree Fahrenheit, but it is precise to always mention it in terms of centigrade. So around 20 to 30 degrees centigrade, we can say 29 to 35, as I already told. The bottom portion will have 35 degrees centigrade, and the top portion will have 29. So around 30 to 35 degrees temperature is required. And of course, Azotobacter inoculum is introduced through the beechwood shavings, and this vinegar stock or mix is allowed to undergo circulation repeatedly through beechwood shavings. And alcohol solution undergoes more and more oxidation, and this is continued till the right strength is attained. And of course, important factors to be considered include the nature of packing material, that as I already told, these beech wood shavings, coke, pumice, graves and other twigs can also be used. And also nature of stock is very, very important. Rate of uh, ethanolic flow and rate of air flow is also very important, and temperature. See, for any product production, not just acetic acid or lactic acid, any product production, you need to concentrate on these various factors. First of all, inoculum. Inoculum should be of high grade, as with probably in your industrial microbiology, you would have studied about the strain improvement processes. So there are different parameters to be considered as strain to be the best one. I mean, in selecting the strain, it should be of high yielding. It should utilize minimum concentration of the substrates, and also, it should be amicable to the temperature and pH conditions, altering conditions. Totally, the overall cost of production should be made less, and productivity should be, or yield should be high. So that is how one should select the organism. And in this case, usually Acetobacter aceti or Acetobacter xylinum, as mentioned, will be utilized. It's a slime forming bacteria. So bacterial exocellular cellulose is produced by this. And the slime formation decreases, and gradually the concentration of acetic acid in the finished product increases. So the rate of airflow is also regulated to the optimum level by an oxygen outlet. Of course, there will be an inlet and outlet, so the concentration is maintained at around 12%. And an exothermic reaction takes place where ethanol is converted to acetic acid. So this is with related to trickling filtrate or the substrate fermentation. Here usually 80 to 88% of the conversion happens, and it of course happens in 72 hours, not like Orlean process, which it took almost 5 weeks. Okay, so here it takes 72 hours. And whereas in case of submerged fermentation, this is comparatively the best of all the methods, because it is faster and productivity is high. And inoculum culture is from, of course, previous batch. It can be of batch fermentation or continuous fermentation. So here the production rate of ethanol with this process is 10 times higher than the other method, the trickling method. So that is one important point to be considered when we are planning for an industrial scale production. Okay, so lower capital investment for production. This is also another important point. And area, plant area that is considered or required should be, can be low. Okay, so manual cost is also low, because it is fully automatized. So you don't literally have to pass air or take care of any other additions, or heating temperature. As I told, it is very, very important. You don't literally have to worry about the maintaining temperature, because as such heating and cooling jackets will be there, which will take care of it. And as aeration is very, very important, that will also be taken care. Okay, so by spargers, and it is got a stirrer at the bottom, so which stirs, and that keeps the oxygen circulated. So fermenters construct, of course, it is such a fermentation process. We would have seen an industrial scale fermenters. So typically like that, fermenters are being used here. So fermenters constructed with stainless steel are used for this, and they are stirred at the bottom. Okay, for aeration is provided with a suction rotor as well, with the incoming air coming down through a pipe from the top of the vessel. So of course, as I told, heat exchanger is provided, which is otherwise called as heating or heat jackets, to control the temperature, and along with foam elimination. So to eliminate the foam that will be formed, there will be anti-foaming agents that will be added. And of course, system is such that everything is automatized. No manual interference is required. So that will take care. So only a person is required when something goes wrong, maybe the power failures or whatever. But otherwise, everything will be taken care automatically. So domestic vinegar is produced through semi-continuous, fully atomic process under continuous stirring and aeration. So acetic acid bacteria, aeration is very, very important. Please keep that in mind. And this, any of the production process, I don't say it as acetic acid or lactic acid or any other products that is there in your syllabus will come, but there will be one definite question related to these production processes. It can be any enzymes or it can be amino acids, okay, xanthan, whatever is there in the syllabus, but it is also one of the important question which can be expected. So the starting material here, 100 ml of 5% ethanol is used in the process to get around 7 to 10% acetic acid per 100 ml. So the conversion is almost 98 to 99%, we can say. Whereas in case of the previous trickling filter process, I told you it is 80 to 88% conversion. So almost 10 to 20% more conversion is expected. So anything which is giving you higher returns, it is the most preferred one, right? So that's how the submerged method is the best one compared to all others as far as acetic acid is concerned, because if at all, if fungal culture is being used for any other product, you cannot say submerged fermentation is best. There it might be substrate fermentation. So depending upon product of your interest, you need to decide what is the fermentation process that is required. I mean, which method of it is required. So this fermentation process is carried up to 35 hours at 40 degrees centigrade temperature. So here they say 40 degrees to 42 degrees centigrade. So totally it takes almost 3 days, as in case of trickling filters also. Fermentation is, though it is 35 hours, the other processes, downstreaming, everything will take some time. Okay, so recovery, the vinegar produced in this type of fermentation is usually turbid due to presence of bacteria, of course. So it has to be clarified by filtration. So it can also be decolorized using some decolorizing agent. So the most important aspect of any product is its application. So based on this, its application, the production will also depend. So it has wider range of applications. In the treatment of tree infections like growth of fungi and bacteria, and of course used in vinegar production. This itself is vinegar, of course, at a particular concentration like 4 to 7%, or rather 3 to 4%, as I earlier told, precisely 4%. Okay, so nowadays they are encouraging food disinfection, rather, like vegetables and fruits are, if at all, washed using vinegar, diluted vinegar, of course. It is several times better than the normal washing. So that's how we also can include this vinegar for cleaning of fruits and vegetables as well. And it's used as a condiment and also in pickling of raw vegetables. It has a typical taste and flavor. So because of it, it's a preferred source. Mostly in your fried rice and whatever Chinese foods, which is more palatable nowadays. So this is being used. So it's also being used in manufacture of inks and dyes. Also used in perfumes. So this is also one of the important product which is being consumed to a greater extent. So These are all the applications. So keeping in mind all these applications, the importance of this particular acid is also read. So industrial scale production, I think it is now clear, could be done by 3 different processes: Arlean process, substrate process or trickling process, and then the submerged process. So when you know when you can differentiate between a trickling process and the submerged process, you will get to know which is the best one. So it's already been discussed. So next will be production of lactic acid. So this lactic acid also is one of the important product of commercial scale. So that's how it's been industrially produced. It is an alpha hydroxy acid due to the presence of carboxyl group adjacent to the hydroxyl group. So CH3H6O3 is the formula, and lactic acid was the first organic acid produced by fermentation process carried out in 1880. Imagine, several years back, more than a century ago, the production has started. So it's been manufactured both by chemical as well as fermentation methods, because it has its own advantage and disadvantage, each method I'm talking about. So chemically, it is produced from lactonitride, degradation of sugars, and from carbon monoxide and acetaldehyde. For us, we are more interested in knowing about the biological synthesis of it. So we'll concentrate more on the biological synthesis. So it is, as I already told, in case of acetic acid, oxygen was required. Here, oxygen requirement is definitely not there. In fact, this is an oxygenic process. So if through glycolysis it is taking place through Krebs cycle, it will be converted to pyruvate and then to lactate. And of course it is a homofermentative process. Whereas in case of lactic acid pathway, it will occur in absence of oxygen. If at all oxygen is present, it will take the glycolytic pathway. So we need to avoid that, and we need to encourage more of lactic acid pathway, which is to be devoid of oxygen. So here also substrate used will be glucose. And of course, as I previously told, for any production process, these are the things to be considered. First of all, microorganism, that it should be high yielding and should not produce any toxic materials, and it should grow well and produce the product with the conditions provided, and it should be capable of utilizing wider carbon sources, all of those things. And nutrient requirement is also very, very important parameter to be considered. In that too, major nutrient and minor nutrients. Among major nutrients, usually you need to decide about which are the carbon sources that are being used, and some organisms might require nitrogenous sources, so which is the nitrogenous sources, and many of them might as well require growth factors and mineral sources. Here also it requires vitamin B as a cofactor. So pH is very, very important. In this case, it is around 5.5 to 6.5. Temperature is also another important thing. Here it is 45 to 50 degrees centigrade. And aeration, agitation. Of course, here, does aeration, agitation required in this process? No, definitely not, right? Because it is devoid of oxygen. If at all aeration is there, then of course it will take up the glycolytic pathway, which again, pyruvate will be converted to lactate. So that is not actually preferred. If it does directly to lactic acid, that is best. That will happen only with an oxygenic condition. Of course, time for all these processes to take place, it should take a very little time. So time requirement. Of course, finally, ultimately yield, rather recovery, that is what is on a commercial basis we need to concentrate more on. So these are some of the bacteria and molds which are interested in lactic acid production. Among bacteria, Lactobacillus amylophilus, it uh, has a pattern of homofermentative pattern, and here the raw material used will be starch. And Lactobacillus amylovorus, this is also homofermentative, it also uses starch. Lactobacillus casei, subspecies Rhamnosus, um, this is otherwise called as Delbrueckii. This is the best compared to any other one. Like it is facultative heterofermentator, which utilizes glucose, sucrose, of course, molasses. And Lactobacillus delbrueckii, subspecies bulgaricus, is another important homofermentative organism which is largely used on an industrial scale production. Here, cheese bay and you know, permeate lactose will be used. And in case of Lactobacillus helveticus, it is also homofermentative. Here also the substrate used are same. And molds are also capable of producing lactic acid. So that is Rhizopus rhizos and Rhizopus oryzae. Both are homofermentative and both use raw materials, that is glucose and starch. So basically, the important organisms on an industrial scale that are being now widely or largely extensively used include Lactobacillus bulgaricus, Delbrueckii, Leishmani, and casei. So selection of microorganisms depends on carbon source being used. That's how the previous slide we mentioned, which are all the carbon sources and what is the organism that prefers a particular source. So in case of bulgaricus, it is whey is used as the source of carbohydrate. And any other carbon sources also could be used, like in the form of glucose, maltose, sucrose, lactose, and also crude substrates like corn starch, potato starch, rice starch, whey, molasses, etc. can also be used. Among the nitrogen source, ammonium salts like ammonium hydrogen phosphate at the rate of 0.25% will be used. And other growth factors in mineral sources, usually this lactic acid bacteria or lactobacillus, they require complex nutrients like vitamin B complex, supplied in crude form like sprouts, rootlets of germinating barley grains. And also calcium carbonate is used as a buffering agent. So this is to maintain the pH or to regulate the pH. So pH, optimum pH maintained should be at 5.5 to 5.6, because we say production of lactic acid, that is, it's quite acidic, but pH to be maintained for the organism would be 5.5 to 5.6, rather 6.5. So in that case, obviously you need to maintain the pH to this particular pH range. That is done by using calcium carbonate, alkalining agent is being used. So yields can be increased by maintaining the pH. Neutralization is done by addition of slurry made out of course, calcium hydroxide or calcium carbonate. So temperature, here it requires a higher temperature comparatively. So Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Delbrueckii require 45 to 50 degrees. Of course, as such, we know what is the temperature requirement of a particular organism. That's how it is different. So in case of casei and Lactobacillus pentosus and Streptococcus lactis and all, 30 degrees is sufficient. Whereas when you are using Bulgaricus and Delbrueckii, and commercially they are the best ones. Bulgaricus and Delbrueckii are the best ones. So the temperature has to be kept high. That's anything more than 45 to 50. So aeration and agitation, since it's an anaerobic process, or at max facultative aerobes might be there. So it should be devoid of oxygen. So the broth is gently stirred to keep the calcium carbonate in the suspension so that it maintains the pH of it. So usually they say 5 to 10 days, but it is also possible to complete the process in 72 hours, provided all the other parameters are maintained properly. That is pH, temperature, everything, if at all, if it is maintained properly, it could be got in 3 days. That is almost 72 hours. Of course, this requires a little bit of recovery steps, like this fermentation. Once it is done, the broth is filtered by using porcelain filters to separate the bacterium, and the filtrate is acidified with sulfuric acid to regenerate lactic acid, that is to precipitate calcium as calcium sulfate, and it is washed. The washed filtrate is then treated with activated carbon to remove organic impurities. So this activated carbon acts in such a way that any impurities which is organic, will be removed. That's how you have activated carbon in the pastes also, so that you will have it does like a bleaching agent, or it removes all the impurities. So that is the strength of this activated carbon. It also decolorizes. So once these organic impurities are removed, so the solution, whatever that you get, will be clear, very clear. So repeated refining and evaporation steps are also undertaken to get higher percentage of lactic acid, that is to an extent of 50 to 60%. It's then treated with ferrocyanide to remove heavy metals, if at all any, like copper or whatever. And finally purified by ion exchange resins. So the yield on commercial basis would range from 93 to 95%. And of course, recovery, food grade, technical grade, plastic grade. So these are the different gradations that could be recovered. So the high grade would be of food grade, then the technical grade and plastic grade, wherein the gradation, depending upon the gradation and its application, is also into a particular field. So it's necessary to use a medium with high grade sugar source and mineral protein content for food grade lactic acid production. So finally, lactic acid by some of the fermentation methods, and what is the yield that when we consider, as I already told, compared to all other types, this Delbrueckii and Bulgaricus are mostly preferred. And more than these fungal cultures, which has the yield of say 0.5 to 0.44 to 0.72, whereas in this case you see 0.93 and 0.94, and here 0.91 and 99, which is this Delbrueckii and subspecies Bulgaricus. So they are mostly preferred. And this is also by various other different species. Ultimately, the best one being Delbrueckii Bulgaricus, 0.98 to 0.99%. It depends on which particular bioreactor and the raw material that is being used. So yield also varies. And coming to the final part, that is the application. So it is also having a wider application in so many different fields. In pharmaceuticals, it is one of the important ingredient in IV fluids. Then it also acts as an anti-tumor. It has anti-tumor activity. So there again, it plays an important role. It is used in sanitizers and also in treatment of dermatological problems like warts, and preservative, of course, in food industry. And it is readily polymerizable. So since it readily polymerizes, its use is also found in polymer industry. Pure lactic acid is used in plastic industry. Self-dissolving suture threads in surgery. So this is very, very important. So if anything could be dissolved without, there is no need for us to get the sutures removed once it is done. Earlier, probably they were using different material wherein we need to remove the sutures. But since this is self-dissolving, suture threads, it is being used. And then used in the preparation of anti-inflammatory drugs, and also as acidulant in food industry, as it has a typical odor and flavor. So with this, we are done with the production of organic acids. To summarize, acetic acid and the lactic acid are the two different acids, organic acids, that we discussed today. Acetic acid requires oxygen, whereas lactic acid doesn't require oxygen. And each and every organic acid is prepared by a particular process. So in the initial case, those three different processes were there. Of course, submerged fermentation was the best one for both. So that was used, and organisms used are very, very important. Temperature should be considered, pH, and the nutrient content is very, very important. Finally, the yield of the product is very, very important. So with the applications of these organic acids, we can think of the entire discussion is complete. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.